In a Kabul hospital, the cries of hunger never stop. My son is dying in front of my eyes, says one mother, but I can't do anything. After 2 decades of better health and longer lives, half the country is now in acute hunger, children especially.
Over the past year or so, there's no question the number of children who are severely malnourished has doubled.
Just one measure of what's happened since the U.S. pulled out of Afghanistan last August after a 20-year war that drew in Canada and others. A chaotic American military retreat with Afghans scrambling for planes at the Kabul airport. 180,000 refugees fleeing the Taliban's new Islamist rule, with many left behind.
Our country is in dire condition.
Former President Ashraf Ghani also escaped. He now tells CNN he doesn't blame the U.S.
Superpowers, big powers, decide on the basis of their national interest. What I hope is that they've considered the implications of those.
Washington did not, say U.S. Republicans.
There was never a good time to withdraw U.S. forces.
In a report released today, Republicans say President Joe Biden left key decisions to the final hours before Kabul fell, ignoring consequences and Pentagon planners.
They called it right. The problem was the White House and State Department putting their head in the sand, not wanting to believe what they were saying, and therefore not adequately planning.
The lives of Afghan women also changed. Forced out of jobs and schools, yesterday one defiant group protested their year-long ordeal, only to be dispersed by Taliban soldiers.
And Sasha, how is the Biden administration responding to the Republican report?
Well, Ian, this came out in a memo that was leaked to the political news website Axios. And basically, the administration is saying that the Republican report is riddled with false claims and misinformation, and that the real problem was what happened earlier with former President Donald Trump and the deal he made with the Taliban. The White House is saying that Trump actually never took into consideration what would happen to the hundreds of Americans and more than 100,000 Afghan citizens who were working with the Americans and who were at risk once all of this happened. Now, like the withdrawal itself, it's all vague and a little bit rushed because there really hasn't been a proper post-mortem by the administration, a so-called after-action report on what exactly went wrong a year ago in Afghanistan. Ian?
Thanks, Sasha.
My pleasure, Ian.